Okay, I'm doing securing web servers. The Internet Society developed the OSC project as a tool for organizations to comply with internet standards. So I'll be using the OSC to do the exercise. The idea is for the web server to be configured to reach 100% at Internet NL and HTTP2 Pro. I performed the task on an Apache web server. To begin with, before I began the exercise, the test was at 36%. So my goal was to reach 100% to cover all the test subjects. I was using the domain artistspecialschool.ac.ke. It is a school for disabled children from where I come from. It is built on WordPress and over Apache web server. The testing parameters for DNS for the internet.nl are DNSSEC, IP version 6, HTTPS, security options, then DMARC, and RPKI for routing. Basically, we want to test the domain should achieve the standards, the modern internet standards. Okay, there's an SSL tool, a free tool on cPanel. It's called Let's Encrypt, which should be available to anyone. Okay, to begin the DNSSEC configuration, there are two parameters. The first is the registrar of your domain needs to be able to access delegation signal or DS records. And the number two, the DNS hosting provider who operates the DNS name servers of your domain should support DNSSEC. In other words, your hosting provider should be able to support DNSSEC for it to be successful. My host provider advised me to use Cloudflare because they were not at that point able to understand what I was trying to do. At Cloudflare, I configured the name servers from Cloudflare on my hosting domain. This was done through the DNS app at Cloudflare. Next, after enabling the DNSSEC on Cloudflare, I took the DS records from Cloudflare and I copied to my hosting company. Then they copied on their side. The two should be able to synchronize. What you have, your configurations, the DS records, should also be able to read at the registrar record. That is the idea of DNSSEC. The next task was to configure SSL and TLS. This is encryption. This is done under Edge certificates on Cloudflare. And the parameters are here on the screen. Like in HTTPS, I put on, I enabled HSTS and enabled TLS 1.3 and HTTPS rewrites. At this point, after enabling DNSSEC and TLSSL, the compliance reached 94%. After that, I went back to the open standards everywhere, documentation, and I copied this code, these headers, which I put on my htaccess file. This is the main configuration file on an Apache server. After doing this, the compliance reached 97%. I must say I stuck at 97% for a long time. Little did I know that the contents of your website can make you not achieve the standard, the required standard. So I had to remove some images which were linking to external sources which had HTTP references. And then after that, I came back again to the Cloudflare. On the TLS SSL tab, I went to the minimum TLS version. I increased it from version 1.2 to 1.3. This combined with removing images, scripts, and everything that was pointing towards HTTP enabled me achieve the 100%. This is the best that could have been done. And also on the HTTP2 Pro, when I ran the domain name, it showed I have passed support for HTTP2. So as you remember, the test was the web server should be configured to achieve 100% on the internet.nl website test suite, and also it should pass on the http2.pro, which I did for all of them. My observation during this exercise was that a majority of organizations in Kenya, including the government, our own internet ISOC chapter, and many more leading organizations, they don't comply to the internet.nl standards, which means it is not widely known, and maybe some advocacy is required. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
That was quite practical. I think the audience agree, right? I want to just stop sharing your screen now. Maybe okay. we have luxury. Thank you very much. We have luxury of a few minutes. I've been asked to turn on my video for a moment, so I'll just turn it on for a moment and say hi. I hope you can all see me. Yes. So there is one or two questions. There's a discussion going on actually concerning the previous presentation and even the current one. But Paul has brought to the fore a few issues, you know, and what probably we can do. Oh, yeah, the isoc.or.ke website is at 32%. We all know what is happening about to that domain, and I wish that maybe our former SG, Mr. Otieno, would be able to join us and experience this. But Paul, maybe you need to give us, tell us how far you went, because this work has to be published on that website. Were you able to access the domain? That would be the
first.
Yes,
this domain, the one I was demonstrating.
No, the ISO, the chapter domain. I'd link to.
Oh no, I've not been able to. Okay, I interacted with Anthony. He told me he will give me the credentials, but I'm still waiting.
Okay, I believe this is work in progress. And I think it's on chat, internet.nl, the tools that Paul was referring to, our members should be able to try this out. I think it's a good experience. Did you try any other websites?
Yes, I tried the Communication Authority, University of Nairobi. None of the websites in Kenya will reach 100%.
Excellent. So this is the information that needs to come out. You know, the fact that you can have a page online and be able to disseminate certain information does not make you very safe. We need to educate our users. Let me allow a few questions. I don't know if there are one or two questions. Athena Morgan, our former chair and acting chair, is also in the house. But let me allow a few questions for Mr. Kilongi. He has done a good job. Any question for Paul? All right. In the absence of any query,
Joel, I can ask a question.
Yes. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Okay. I think Paul has done well. I just wanted to know, like, how frequent can you be doing this measurement, and how can you come? Is there a simplified way of correcting those challenges that have been identified?
For like those websites that don't comply, or
yes, the ones that don't comply. Yes,
that's up to the system administrator of those organizations. I think they don't. These internet.nl standards, I think it's not well known here with many of our organizations here in Kenya, and even the DNSSEC. My experience is that even my web host did not understand this concept of DNSSEC. So it took a while for him to help me on his end. So I think there's a lot of information which is not known about this test.